on behalf of the DC Virgo family to welcome Princeton Parker. Let him hear it, students.
Are you all excited to be here today? Oh, come on, I want to try that one more time. Are you excited to be here today? I'm excited to be here with you. I'm excited to be here with you. Okay, listen, so here's the thing. I absolutely love events and moments like this because this is a really big day. And I came a long way to hang out with you today to let you know how important you are. I want you to repeat that after me. Say, I'm important. Oh, come on, say it like you really mean it. Say, I'm important. Let's have some fun. Look at somebody next to you and tell them, I'm important. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I'm important. So important that a guy from Los Angeles came just to tell me that I mean something, just to tell you that you matter. I'm all the way from Los Angeles, California, and I have the awesome opportunity to work for a company called Disney. Anybody ever heard of Disney before? Yeah? Okay. Cool. So when I'm not here, I get to go to the parks every day and inspire and make magic for folks who come from across the world. Now, you might know that I work for Disney, but what you may not know is before I was involved in the parks, it was the movies that made me very excited. Who likes Disney movies? Yeah. So here's the thing, friends. If you like Disney movies, then you know that every Disney movie has a real difficult part that you have to sit through. It has that part that you weren't really expecting. It has that part that kind of shakes you. It has that part that you're like, ooh, I wasn't prepared for that. Anybody seen Black Panther? Okay, I'm in the right place. So, there's this moment in Black Panther where everything's going good, and out of nowhere, Killmonger and T'Challa get in this fight. And they're battling it out. And who thought T'Challa was going to win? I thought T'Challa was going to win that. I thought he had that in the bag. But what happened? He got thrown over the hill, and it looked like he died. But you know what messed up the movie for me? Somebody sitting behind me said, he ain't dead. And I was like, how could you say that? Did you not just see what I just saw? They fought him. He did the whole thing. He did the whole like stab to the chest, and he threw him over. It doesn't get any worse than that. And it was like, nah, he ain't dead. I was like, wait, now you're just ruining the whole experience for me. How could you say that? And they said, well, he can't be dead because there's another Avengers movie coming out. Now listen, family and friends gathered here today, the one thing you should know about Princeton Parker is that I am an emotional person. I am that person that cries during films. I am that person that gets a little misty-eyed and somebody messed up my whole emotional moment. Here's why. Because they looked at the same scene that I saw, but they said it can't be over right there because I see more than what you just saw. In 2011, a similar moment as T'Challa being thrown over the side of the mountain happened in the life of DC Virgo Preparatory Academy, where it seemed as though the narrative of what we would do as a school would end. It seemed as though what we would celebrate as a hero and a beacon of light, of potential and of experience and of the future was going to get cut short. And there were some who, like me, looked at the scene and said, I guess it's over. There were some who looked at the scene like I did during Black Panther and said, I guess it ends there. There were some who looked at the scene of DC Virgo, as I did in the film, and said, I guess there's not more that happens after that. But thank goodness there were people who, like the person behind me during Black Panther, said, surely DC Virgo's not dead, because there's more to come. Surely the life of the school cannot end there, because there are more lives of students that we must impact. Surely the narrative does not end there, because there are more dreams to be realized. Surely the story does not end there, because there are teachers who still have more to give. Surely the story does not end there, because there is still a community that needs to be revitalized. Somebody say, the story's not over. The story of DC Virgo Preparatory Academy is not over. And here's why. It's not over because the hardest part of watching a film and the hardest part of running a school and the hardest part of pursuing your purpose is having to look at a scene for what it is, but still see beyond it to what it could be. I'm going to say that one more time. The hardest part about watching a film, the hardest part about running a school, the hardest part about pursuing your purpose is the ability to look at a scene and acknowledge it for what it is, but still see beyond it to acknowledge what it could be. And there were those who looked at DC Virgo and they said, we see where it is. We see how it's performing. We see the resources that it has now. We see what it has done. But there were those who said, I'm able to acknowledge that, but I also see what it could be. It was T.D. Jakes who puts it this way, that the greatest leaders are those who are able to stare at the context of a situation in what it is not and stare at it to see what it could be. So I came all the way from Los Angeles to ask you this question, to ask students, faculty, and the surrounding community of this great school, what do you see? What do you see? Because whatever you see for your future, whatever you see for your community, whatever you see for yourself, whatever you see for your family is what will determine the direction that you are headed in. I've come to first ask the great community surrounding this school, you must first reconcile, what do you see? Because if you as a community don't believe and see these children for what they can be, then you won't invest what is necessary to help them become it. Community, you must ask yourself, do you see in these children the greatness that's really in them? Do you see them for where they are going? Do you see them for the potential that's in them? Do you see them for their heart and for their character? What do you see? And you have to see enough in somebody to make you invest in them. I think of it like this. You know, I love being here in North Carolina because my dad's from North Carolina, a small town called Murfreesboro. And what I love about when his family comes over to visit us in Los Angeles, they don't ever leave you empty-handed. I love it. There is something about their hospitality, there's something about their kindness that makes them not want to leave you empty-handed. Now, back in Los Angeles, if you say you're hungry and somebody's going to leave you, they just leave you some money and say maybe you call and order Uber Eats or something. They just leave you to fend for yourself. But what I love about when my dad's family comes over to visit is they leave, and as they're getting ready to depart, they'll tell you, hey, Princeton, I left a strawberry cake on the stove. Hey, Princeton, it's a meatloaf in the oven. Hey, Princeton, we made some greens and left them on the stove for you. When you truly see the generation for what they could be, it adjusts the way you see your own life. And it forces you to make the commitment that when I leave, when I'm no longer in this context and in this moment, I'll be able to look back and say, hey, future generation, I left something on the stove for you. I left some education on the stove for you. I left some justice on the stove for you. I left some prayers on the stove for you. I left some emotional health on the stove. I left some resources on the stove. I left some opportunities on the stove for you. So my question to every member of this community is, what's on the stove? That perhaps the generation that we're looking at is not a lost, perverted, or wicked one. Perhaps they're just hungry. Perhaps we're looking at a generation of children who have had to feed themselves and their families and subsequently have not been able to be fulfilled and are seeking. And I want to know, can you look at test scores and see somebody who's hungry? Can you look beyond performance and see somebody who's hungry? Can you look beyond a current behavior or trend and see someone who's hungry and look into that life and be like, yeah, you're going to be all right, because I'm living my life to leave something on the stove for you. But can I suggest to you that you can't leave what you haven't eaten first? See, I was out to lunch with a pastor friend of mine in Sacramento, and he took me to this really nice restaurant, and I ordered the coolest thing I could imagine, because it was a nice restaurant. And I started eating so fast because it was so good and it was so new and I was just enjoying it, and I just wouldn't even take a breath. I was just going and going and going and going, and the pastor finally looked over to me and he said, "Eat to enjoy, son, not to endure." And as he was saying that, it helped me understand that I can tell you what restaurant we went to. I can tell you what I ordered and how expensive it was, but I don't really remember what it tastes like. Because I was so busy trying to consume it that I forgot to taste it. And can I submit to you that the goal of life is to be able to end it having known what life tasted like? So yeah, you've come as a community thinking that this day is about the kids, but I ask you, while you put something on the stove for them, have you made the commitment for you to know what life tastes like? To know what it tastes like to finish your education? To know what it tastes like to commit to yourself, not just to them, to know what it tastes like to give your all and to have experienced all ends of the emotions, all ends of the fight, all ends of the journey. Will you be able to, number one, commit to leaving something on the stove for them, but will you commit to, number one, eating for yourself too? You will eat based upon what you see. Faculty, you all must also see. Every day that you're in this school, you're going to be faced with challenges that will tempt you to believe that not much has changed, challenges that will tempt you to believe that what you're investing is not being paid right away, challenges that make you feel as though it's not worth it, but you must continue to see, and you have an added responsibility, because it's not enough for you to see what's in them. You must also be committed to having the right skills necessary to get them from where they are to what you see. Last thing, students, it's not enough for them to see in you. The last thing I want to share with you before I go is you have to see something more in yourself. I'm almost done, but I need some help. I need 3 people who are going to be really brave and help me out. I need 3 people. Okay, there is... I'm going to come out and have some fun. Okay, I'm going to have you in the front row. Stand right here for me, okay? Stand right here. Hang tight. Fantastic. I'm going to come back and hang out. This is so exciting. You know what? Do I have a 4th grader? Can I have a 4th? Okay, this is 4th grade right here. 4th grade? Right here in the middle. If you'll come help me out. Yes, you. You're right next to you. Thank you so much. Okay, let me have somebody. Where am I? 6th grade. 6th grade? 6th? Yeah, pick a 6th grader for me. Send me one 6th grader. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. So, you have to be committed to seeing something in yourself. Because it doesn't matter what people see in you if you don't believe it for you. And you've got to see it in yourself enough so that you'll work for it. You have to see it in yourself enough so that when people don't believe it in you, you'll believe it in yourself. You have to see it in yourself enough so when people say, you can't do that, you be like, okay, I'll show you. Why? Because I see it. What's your name?
Charles.
One more time.
Charles.
Everybody say, hey, Charles. Okay. I want you to tell me, what do you want to be when you grow up? What's your dream?
I dreamed when I was, let's say I was 1 and I talked when I was 2 and that I was thinking and then when I went to sleep I had a dream that I wanted to be a cop.
One more time.
I dreamed that I wanted to be a cop.
I love that. Did everybody hear that? He dreams that he wants. How phenomenal is that? In this climate, it is so important that we have people who are aspiring to that profession. All right. So, here's the way I want to switch this language. There is a difference between I want to be and I see myself being. And if I can get this in your head now, you'll see your dreams realized. There are some people who want to be. I want to be famous. I want to be rich. I want to be influential. I want to be smart. I want to be in college. But I think you've seen enough people who've done that. You've seen people who have been wealthy. You've seen people gone to college. But my challenge to you is I want you to see yourself doing it. So Charles wants to be a cop. I want you to say this. Say, I see myself being a cop.
I see myself from being a cop.
Oh, come on, one more time. Say, I see myself being a cop.
I see myself being a cop.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody say, you go, Charles. That's what I'm talking about. What's your name?
Danielle.
Everybody say, hey, Danielle. That's what I'm talking about. Danielle, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Police officer.
We have a lot of law enforcement. We have a lot of law enforcement. I love it. I love it. I love it. So now we're going to do the same thing Charles just did. Say, I see myself being an officer.
I see myself being an officer.
Hey, you got to give me a little bit. You got to give me a little bit more than that. You got to be like, I see it. Like I believe this thing. Say, I see myself being an officer.
I see myself being an officer.
There we go. There we go. Give it up for Danielle. Everybody say, go, Danielle. What's your name, man?
Tashawn.
One more time.
Tashawn.
Everybody say, what's up, Tashawn? What do you want to be when you grow up?
Engineer.
An engineer. Did y'all hear that? Anybody else want to be in engineering? Anybody else engineering? Great, great, great. Now, here's how we flip that. We start off by saying I want to be. We flip it to say I see myself being. So I want you to say that. I see myself being an engineer.
I see myself being an engineer.
Oh, I felt that. I felt that. One more time. Say I see myself being an engineer.
I see myself being an engineer.
Everybody say, you go, Tyshawn. I want you to get in the habit of seeing people and things that you admire and putting yourself in those spaces. Why? Because you deserve a seat at those tables. You deserve an opportunity to be in those places. You deserve an opportunity to have those things that you have desired. And so I want everybody to practice. Say, I see myself. Come on, say it stronger. Say, I see myself. All the way in the back, say, I see myself. That's what I'm talking about. One more time in the back. Say, I see myself. Yeah, you got to see it when nobody else does. You have to see it when people don't believe in it. You have to see it when it looks like you're not close to it. You have to see it when it looks like it's not going to manifest. Thank y'all so much for helping me out. Here's all I came to tell you. I close with this. I came all the way from Los Angeles. Hear me clearly. I need everybody's attention. I need everybody's attention. I'm going to end here. This is between me and you. Let me have everybody's attention. I came to tell you this. I see you. Not from a whole like you're wearing a purple shirt. That's obvious. No, I see that you have an incredible future. I see you that no matter what people have said about you and what you're able to do, I see that you're able to rise beyond it. I see that you're worthy of the best education possible. I see that there are people who believed in you enough to give up their entire lives so that you can have a destiny. I see you, that you can go to college just like anybody else can. I see that you can achieve your dreams just like anybody else can. I see that you can be the first in your family, your community, to achieve the dream that you have. I see you, and I see that there is greatness on the inside of you. And I just came to ask you and to hopefully encourage you to see it in yourself. And I've come to ask this entire community that no matter what happens in the life of Wilmington, no matter what happens in the life of DC Virgo, no matter what happens in the life of UNCW, never stop seeing more than right now, because the greatness of our race, the greatness of our community, the greatness of our nation was built on the decisions of those who said, I know what it looks like right now, but I see something beyond what is. And as long as you see it, fight for it. As long as you see it, fund it. As long as you see it, teach it. And when we continue to dedicate ourselves to a vision of what is beyond what we see, we will live in a reality different than anybody has ever seen. And I declare that I see this academy and the DC Virgo Preparatory Academy partnered with UNCW is full of greatness and promise, and this community, this school, and the world will be changed because of what happened here. Thank you, and God bless you.